Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Vikas Singh Thakur, and in this video I will be letting you know all the basic and very essential components that you should have to get started with robotics. So if you are someone who is just beginning your robotics career, then there are lots of essential components that you should have, and I will be listing all the essentials in this video. So first thing is get a proper desk or workspace in any corner of your hall or a room. So that is very helpful because when I myself get started with it, I started with an almirah. Yeah, I'm not joking here. So first thing is a workspace, a proper workspace with a good electrical connections, and so that you can power up things, anything up. And the next thing is a proper or a decent working computer or a desktop or a laptop. Laptop is highly preferred here because if you are someone who is a student, then laptop will give you more flexibility taking it with you in a remote place. So that is very helpful. Next part is the tool part. So in the tool there are multiple tools in robotics if you would see, and very complex one, but I will be taking you on the very basic and very essential ones. So first thing is to get a screwdriver set. They are very cheap and I will put some link on the description. You can directly go there and buy one. So screwdriver set is very essential. So the next thing is the soldering iron. Soldering iron is very essential if you want to connect multiple connection or wires or make a circuit. Soldering iron is going to help you a lot, and there is also a the soldering iron set is there, so you can directly go with that. So you will be getting wires, the paste, and the screwdriver set, the soldering iron set. And after the soldering iron, next thing is the glue gun. And glue gun is, I think, very essential if you want to work on a prototype and if you want to stick multiple things or components. Then glue gun is very helpful instead of going with those super glue. Glue guns are recoverable and they help me a lot. But the next thing I definitely want you to have is a multimeter. Multimeter are very helpful tools, and mostly they come under instrument. And I have this multimeter from my first year, and this still works, and you see this still work, and this had never shown me its bad part. And these are very reliable and very beginner friendly, and you could have still one of this, and they are very helpful in your circuitry. And when you are working with multiple connection, you want to check continuity and all those other parameters in your circuit. After multimeter, next thing is a wire cutter. Try to have a very decent working wire cutter, or if you have good budget, you can go with this wire clippers. So they will help you cut the wire or clip the wire, so insulating part out, so that you can make multiple connections on it. So these are the tools, very essential tools. There are multiple ones, but these are the very essential you should have to get started with robotics. So after the tool part, next part is the electronics component. So in the electronics component, first essential thing that I definitely want you guys to have is get a microcontroller. In microcontroller, the most basic one are Arduino and ESP32. But here I definitely and personally suggest you go with the ESP32, and then you will be getting more feature like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth with it. And if you don't want to go with other buying all other component to have those feature like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth in your Arduino, then I definitely suggest you go with the ESP32. And after the microcontroller part, the next part is the sensor part. So here I would be suggesting you go with the sensor kit here, because there are tons of sensors out there, and I cannot suggest you each one step by step. There are lots of them, and I would suggest you go with the sensor kit here directly. There are multiple sensors inside that box or the kit, and you can have your minds hands on with all those things, and you can learn multiple protocols in it, how to make a proper circuit, how to make a configuration, particular interface with microcontroller and sensor, how to read data. You will be getting a lot of information about how to use those. And after sensor kit, next thing and very essential thing is get hands-on with the actuators. So actuator is something that will help you get your the dynamic functionality in your robots. So if you are working on robot joint, or if you are working on a robot manipulator or robot base with multiple wheels on it that can follow a line, do obstacle avoidance and all those kind of thing, then you could go with a DC motor. So DC motor is very essential. Second thing is the servo motor. Servo motor is very helpful and budget constraint. Then try to have a single one and try to have your heads on with those, because they are mostly used in dynamic robots or a lot of time. So after servo motor and DC motor, next thing is the driver part. So to drive a DC motor, you cannot directly go with the Arduino or microcontroller to connect with it, because this will eventually burn your microcontroller, because they are more current hungry and power hungry. So go with the motor drivers. So L289N is very cheap and very best motor driver out there. There you can actually connect 2 DC motor at a time, and you can use the PWM signal to send all the command to your motor driver and control the motor based on your requirements. So try to have this small motor driver. And then after the motor driver part, next and very essential thing is get wire or jumper wire is very essential here. So if you want to work on prototype part and you want to have the connection partially connected, then jumper wire is something that you are going to use a lot in your robotics career. So for making a basic prototype and you don't want to go with the soldering part, connecting everything permanently, go with the jumper wires. So the next part and very essential for prototyping is a breadboard. So breadboard and the zero board is there. So zero PCB board is there. So you can put your electronics or all the sensors in it partially. And in zero board you need to solder everything up. So breadboard is something you definitely go with the prototyping only. And in zero PCB board, you will be actually connecting everything. So go with a breadboard. Another very essential thing is the power supply unit. So there are 2 different options. So first thing is to get a power or wall adapter of 5 volt up to 4 ampere, because 4 ampere is something I really recommend you to have, because lots of time when you are working on motors and all those, so they are more current hungry. So go with a 5 volt 4 ampere adapters. And another thing, if you are working on a remote thing or remote project, then a battery or a lithium-ion cells are very important here. So you can have a power supply remotely out there in your robotic platform. And the next part is the miscellaneous part. And this miscellaneous part, I have put some components that are not very necessary, but I definitely want you to have, because they are not very pricey too. So first thing is get resistor set. So resistors are something, they are very helpful if you are working with, the basic prototyping board. So sometimes you require some pull-ups and pulled out resistors externally for your microcontroller. So resistors are very helpful. I will try to put, the link in the description. You can buy those set of resistor for your own. Next thing is a capacitor. So go with those small, the chunky capacitor, because they are somewhere going to help you a lot in making RC filters and other filters. When you are working on some circuit where there is a high drainage of currents are there, then you definitely require a capacitor in that circuit. And the next part I definitely think you should have is a proper materials and the proper base part or building materials. So I definitely have building materials when I get started with robotics. So you cannot go with the 3D printers and all those heavy the professional tools directly when you are just an entering or beginner in robotics. So I suggest you go with this materials. Like the first thing I will suggest you go with the sunboard. Sunboard is something like a compressed styrofoam or compressed thermogol. So go with the sunboard sheet. And the second thing is the styrofoam. Styrofoam are very lightweight, and if you're working on some lightweight project or RC boat or something like that, then you could go with the styrofoam. Next, my favorite ones are the Koro sheet. Even I have an entire robot arm I have built in my first year, and still it up and running. You have probably seen in my previous video. So I built that out of Koro sheet, and that is very reliable. I will try to put the link on the description. You can buy that component or that material from there. So these are the components I really want to have you guys in your works. So another plus thing that I really recommend you guys to have in this entire journey of robotics, that first thing is to get guts. So guts is something I really recommend you guys to have a proper mindset that this is the thing that you really want to do, because robotics is something I won't say very easy or neither say very hard to achieve it, because nothing is hard actually, but robotics is especially something where you need to have a proper balance in both of this, like software and the hardware. And hardware is something that is definitely going to demand your input, either in the financial part or also the hard work part, because in financial part, a lot of us are suffering from some financial issue. But I don't think that 5,000 to 6,000 is something very huge amount. If you are someone who had done already lakhs of money in your school, and if you are going to put lakhs of money in your college, if you are just started in the college part, so 5,000 to 6,000 is not a very huge amount. You can definitely put this amount in your something that you are very passionate about. And if you are someone who is liking my content, then please do like and subscribe my channel, and be connected with me. I have also put my LinkedIn connection down there. You can even connect with me, and I will be sharing lot of projects out there. Lots of informations will be also coming up in my next videos, so try to be connected with me. And these are all the things that I think that are very essential in robotics. So I am Vikas and I love robotics. See you on the next video. Till then, bye.